Welcome back to Talk Breasty to Me podcast featuring the Shitty Titty Talk. Today we have our first guest. Her name is Kelli, and she is a 16-year breast cancer survivor. So today what we're going to talk about is the difference between treatments back then, 16 years ago, and now, and also the lifestyle changes she had made since her diagnosis years ago. So Kelli, first up, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I wasn't expecting this, but I am a 16-year breast cancer survivor. It was stage two, same as Crystal, in my right one. And yeah, I opted for a very radical treatment plan because I just wanted to get it over with. And this was in 2008. And I remember not not really being scared after seeing my doctor because she was famously told me that I had more of a chance being struck by a bus in her parking lot and getting killed than dying by my breast cancer under her care. So I was very confident, and as she was, it made me confident. She also told me not to Google anything because your attitude and your outlook is like 90% of your cure.
Yep.
And I absolutely did not Google anything. If I did, I would have found out that I only had like a 70% chance of living. And I wouldn't have had all the fun that I did. And I didn't cry until actually my eighth chemo treatment, when I thought I would never have to go back there and be special. I know.
So you're upset you couldn't use the cancer card anymore.
Yes, exactly. I wasn't special anymore. My
Well,
cancer was technically gone. So,
well, we officially can use the cancer card for life.
oh
So
yes, definitely, definitely.
also we only have one mic because
Oh,
Steph ain't here today. So sorry, Steph. Come on, where you at? We need the other mic.
no, it's
We
no,
miss you, Steph.
you can't hear my voice that good. Thank goodness. No.
We spent the day at the beach today, so honestly, we are
We should.
so burnt. Maybe we should talk about skin cancer awareness today.
X marks the spot right
X
there
marks.
on you. It's like, oh yeah, no, I don't burn.
We're talking about how to like prevent cancer and
I know.
what kind of lifestyle changes, and here we are, burnt to a crisp. So it was my first time in the sun since my diagnosis almost a year ago now. So that post cancer tan for first cancer burn. But from your experience, 16 years ago was a nice chunk of time.
It was a big chunk of time.
Big chunk of
Yes.
time. And have you seen, things evolve in treatment, how people are handling things throughout these 16 years?
Yes, with awareness, people are much more well aware with the awareness and not so afraid because it is scary. It's very scary when you hear you have cancer. And there wasn't a lot of people. Now it's so prevalent.
Well, back then, no one
Yeah.
really talked about
No,
it. They would keep
nobody.
it to themselves.
Yes.
When I was looking down my family line, I thought no one in my family has cancer at all. I found out a great aunt of mine had cancer, but no one knew about it. Only reason why we knew is because we asked and asked and asked, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, my grandma's grandma had it." So sometimes people you just don't know if it's in your family because no one really talked about it. That's why awareness is so important these days, because back then the chance of dying was also probably a little bit higher too.
Yes, I would say so, definitely. And believe me, like even back then I tried to bring awareness, telling everybody that like I didn't have a lump or a bump or a rash or pain. I had an indent. And the first time I went to the doctor, and it was a younger doctor, and I said, "Oh, what's wrong?" I lifted up my arm. I'm like, "What's wrong with?" He goes, "Oh, you're losing muscle mass because you're 45 years old." And then when I was 46, I saw my regular gynecologist, and I said, "This is still like this." The dent. He goes, "That's cancer." I was like,
He knew just by
"Yes."
looking at it.
Yeah, he didn't even touch me, and he knew because my whole boob sunk in.
Wow. So, okay. So, what the doctors tell you though is, oh, a lump, just a lump. A
Lump,
lump's
a
what you have
lump.
to look
Yep.
for. You didn't even have a
Yeah,
lump. You had an
or a
indent,
dimple. A dimple.
a
It
dimple.
wasn't a dimple. Look, those are
Yeah.
dimples. Those are cute little dimples. I had a friggin' dent because it was so deep, and it was just like sucking. Yeah, it was a dent.
Besides the
Dent.
dent, did you have any other cancer symptoms? Like, were you tired?
No,
Nothing.
nothing, nothing, absolutely nothing.
So nothing drove you to go to the doctor. You just went for your
No,
yearly.
I had 7 mammograms from 35 to 42. I had like 7 mammograms, and none of them detected the 2 centimeter um, tumor like stuck on my chest wall. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So
So
after your doctor looked at it and he
yeah.
said this is cancer, did you go for a biopsy or did they just automatically went for surgery?
I had to go for an ultrasound, which I never did. I had dense breasts, but back then nobody gave a crap about the density of the breast. I just had a mammogram, smash them together, and that was it. It didn't see because the tissue was so dense.
Gotcha. Okay. So the difference between then and now is that now dense breast tissue, doctors are starting to become more aware about a lot of cancer hides within
Yes.
that. That's what happened with me. I
Mhm.
had really dense breasts
Mhm.
and the doctors never felt like when we did ultrasounds,
Mhm.
mammograms, it was, you could barely see it in there, it was hidden. So
Mhm.
now I think since this has been happening so much to women with dense breasts, and women with large breasts too,
Yeah.
that the doctors are more like, okay, well, you have dense breasts, we have to do extra tests.
Extra
Like my
tests.
mom, I
Mhm.
actually talked to her yesterday. My mom was saying that she has cute little,
Yeah, they're
bees.
little
Yeah,
ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 And she was saying that she has really dense breast
Mhm.
tissue and they do extra testing for her. And now since I was diagnosed, they're going to do extra, for my mom and my
And your
sister.
sister.
Yeah. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, okay. So is there anything else you could think about from 16 years ago? Like, cause I remember 16 years ago when you were diagnosed,
Yeah.
like I've known Kelly
Yeah.
forever.
Forever.
I
Mhm.
remember that like we were all really scared because the death rate was a lot higher. Like that we always thought cancer, death, cancer,
Mhm.
death. And,
Mhm.
now with all the different treatments and stuff like that, it's like you don't really put those two together. It's like, okay,
Yes.
yes, people do pass away from cancer, but now it's like, no, there's the treatments and the new technology, the new doctors, and all of that. Things are different. Could you say anything was different back then?
Back then, the only thing that I could say is I trusted my oncologist, real literally with my life, and whatever he said, I would do. The only thing I didn't like is when they said, "Oh, no soy," because it was estrogen positive. I went home and I threw my soy sauce
Yeah.
out from the
Yeah.
refrigerator. I'm like, okay, that's my kryptonite. Get away.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't for like 5 years before I actually started reading ingredients. And there's like soy lecithin, soy in everything.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, even though I was on hormone replacement therapy, I was like, oh my gosh, what's happening? It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And so I think he should have elaborated a little bit more on like soy is in everything, any packaged food. Just read your labels and make wise decisions.
Okay.
I know.
There's a lot of studies out there that show a correlation between soy and breast cancer. Increase of soy intake means increase of breast cancer occurrence. So, we're not doctors. This is
No.
just,
Oh,
research
absolutely
that we
not.
have done, what, other doctors have told us. But basically, Kelly loved soy.
Yeah.
So, soy could come into
Yes. Yeah.
tofu, soy
Tofu. Yep.
sauce,
Yep.
there's so many different forms of soy. So after a couple of years of research, she was like, "Oh hell no! Like I need to change my diet."
Hmm.
And that's something that I did as well. So that's something similar between us. I changed my diet like immediately. Like I lost 8 pounds.
Like five
Yeah,
years.
5 years.
Five
No,
years. I
me
was like,
5 minutes. Yeah,
what?
I changed it with it. I lost like 8 pounds in the first week because I was like, nope, because I felt like, okay, these cancer causing things that we're eating. I felt
Hmm.
like honestly, when I would eat something, I felt like it was feeding my cancer. I was freaking every time I
Fuel.
took a bite
Hmm.
of something, I
Hmm.
thought I was feeling the cancer, and before the tumor was removed.
Yeah.
So from time of my diagnosis to the tumor removal was about 3-ish weeks. So like those 3 weeks, I'm like, every time I
Oh,
took a bite, I'm like, it's getting bigger, it's getting bigger. So I was like, you know what, suck it up. We're Italian, we love our
oh, we
macaroni, our
know, it's
meatballs, and all the
true.
bad stuff. So it was really hard to give up, but we had to. So besides changing your soy intake
Mhm.
and some food, any other lifestyle changes you made throughout those 16 years?
You're staying out of the sun, unfortunately, not not today though. Whoops.
You need, she lives up north in
I know. I
Connecticut,
know it's like
so
I never had time, but down here it's like vacation
vacation,
city
yeah.
and it's
Vitamin
I
D is
know.
okay,
I
you know.
overdosed on
Yeah.
vitamin D today,
It's
but
okay. Well,
it's
besides
okay.
that, anything else that,
Um,
because the thing, I think a lot of people who are diagnosed are scared of reoccurrence,
oh
and you
yes.
never had a reoccurrence in the
No,
16
not
years.
yet.
No,
Not
you will never
yet.
have a reoccurrence. But a lot of people always ask, what do you do? Because we want to learn, learn from the best.
Yeah, no, just eat clean, healthy, nothing from a box, nothing processed, no McDonald's. Absolutely no
Miss my Big
McDonald's. I
Macs.
know, me too. But I do have a recipe for the Big Mac sauce. I'll send
Oh,
it to
okay,
I'll
okay.
send it to
What
you.
about alcohol? Do you still drink?
Not a lot, except for that one time I got drunk at your mother's.
My mom's 60th birthday party.
Oh,
Was that
oh
that?
no,
Oh,
no.
no?
Before then, in the beginning of the pandemic. Oh,
Oh, well, everyone deserved to drink then.
the Pink Whitney.
Ooh,
Yeah. No,
oh.
I thought it was pink lemonade.
She thought she was drinking lemonade, but it was a
Pure
drink,
vodka.
pure vodka, but it says lemonade on the outside of it. So she thought she was drinking lemonade and she got
Hammered.
hammered.
I was like, oh my God, it was terrible. My my daughter had to drive me home. I was like, I don't I never drink and drive. It's horrible. Watch the body cam videos.
I know another thing that you do. I know that you watch your steps too, right?
Oh yes, yeah, yeah. Keep walking. You have to, yeah, keep exercising. Weight bearing exercises is very good for your bones because cancer would, especially the breast cancer, the favorite place for it to attack next would be your bones. So you have to, make sure you take your vitamin D supplements and calcium, and do weight bearing exercises. Yeah,
Thank you. I'm
yeah,
actually starting that
yeah.
this week.
And actually, I had to take infusions of Zometa. I think that's the name of it, because the hormone letrozole that blocks all the estrogen um, cause it. The side effect to the like the cure is weakness in your bones. So then I had to take infusions to strengthen my bones so the cancer wouldn't just, pop up and go, oh, there's no breasts anymore. Let's go get some bone
Let's go get some bone.
or brain, but
Let's
that's
bone.
gone.
Let's bone.
That's
Brain.
no
The
brain.
brain. We got chemo brain. 16 years later, still got that chemo
Still got
brain.
it.
So
Still got it.
Kelly has had a similar diagnosis to Steph and
Yep.
I. We are all estrogen positive,
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the treatments that you went through. What did you do first? Was it chemo? Was it mastectomy?
Oh no, I had mastectomy, double mastectomy, radical double mastectomy, no nipple saving, just get it off, and then that.
Lymph nodes?
Oh yeah, all my lymph nodes gone. Yeah, I
Every single one of them?
yes, yeah, the
Wow.
sentinels, both sentinels on both sides. It was like borderline in my lymph nodes, so it was just like no.
So when you say borderline, did it hit any of them or it was about to?
I think they do something, they like do a scale like 9/9. I was 8/9. 9/9 was like I'm fucked.
So basically it's spread. It's spread into your lymph nodes.
I was 8/9. 9/9 would have been.
So you were basically there of the spreading.
Yes. I don't like to think of it like
I
that.
know. Well, I mean,
I was under.
we're learning the terms here. Yeah,
I
yeah.
just slid right underneath there.
Gotcha. So after, so that's why, is that why
So
after the mastectomy you chose to do chemo?
yeah, I did. I had to have 8 rounds. If it wasn't that far into my lymph nodes, I would have only had to have 4. Um, but I had 8, so 4 months, and it plummeted me directly since I was 46 into menopause. So I didn't need those new shots that you
Zoladex and Lupron.
I don't need those because like everything just stopped. Period stopped. Hair gone, eyebrows gone, bush gone.
The bush went first for me. I don't know
Oh
about
my
you.
God. You know what? This was all before. It's like 16 years ago was way before, all this social media stuff. So I would like send emails to all my friends. And I remember the one with I was like, has anybody seen my bush? I was
Honestly, it
like,
was so pretty.
oh my God, I know it was gone. I was like,
So
oh, I
pretty.
took my underpants down and I was like, what? My bush is dead.
Mine was all over my bed. My white sheets, I saw all the
Oh my,
hairs, the
I,
prickles.
I sleep with underpants on. Sorry,
I
I'm old.
don't. My poor bed has seen
I
the
know,
worst of the
my
worst.
God, I know.
So, when you lost your hair, did you wear wigs? Did you go bald?
Yeah, I went bald right at my daughter's high school graduation. I was completely bald, and somebody donated to my friend to give to me a human hair wig, except it was red. It looked like Peg Bundy's wig, and I didn't have time because I got it like the day before Lisa's graduation from high school. And when I went to the graduation, I had the Peg Bundy wig on.
Oh my
And Lisa
God.
was way up on stage, really far away. She's like, God, she saw
Oh
me
my God.
immediately. She's like, what the fuck?
I have to ask, did it look as good as my wig? Or the
No.
wigs 16
Oh,
years ago look shitty?
oh my God. It was horrible and it was hot. And I think I didn't even wear it to work. As soon as my hair grew, like after the 4 months, my hair grew a quarter of an inch. I rocked it. And I thought I looked hot, but I looked like a big, a big troll with a big prednisone head.
Oh my God.
Because I don't know, you must have got like the really nice thin chemo. I got the fat chemotherapy. Like I blew up to 160 pounds. It was horrible.
I think so. You did 8 rounds.
Yeah.
I did 4 rounds. So
Oh, I could have kept my
yeah.
hot bod.
No. um, do you know? Did you do the Red Devil or did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
so
ATZ or
you,
ACT,
yeah, something like
whatever
that.
it is.
THC.
THC.
I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I did not
I,
have the Red Devil because I
oh.
did not have lymph node spreading.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was hot. That was hot.
Yeah. So I did during chemo, I did gain a couple pounds because I was only able to eat carbs. So
Oh,
her son
yeah.
actually mailed me two New York pizzas, two pies of New York pizzas because I was craving carbs. I would open the fridge and be like, this is so nasty. So her son her son vacuum sealed and sent them to me. So I was eating pizza every day, waffles, everything. When you were in chemo, did you eat a bunch of shit or were you eating healthy?
No, I was not eating. I was just like eating regular, but it was like unfortunately it was like processed foods. Like
Because we didn't know better.
no, no, canned like vegetable. I'm like, oh no.
You think it's a good vegetable because
I know.
it's
It's like,
called
oh,
vegetable in a
it's
can.
the green
Meanwhile,
giant. Ho ho ho, green giant. But it's like
meanwhile, it's
no.
the most processed crap you could possibly buy. But that's the thing, in my opinion, more people are getting cancer now because of the changing in,
Oh, Roundup,
yeah,
Roundup, Roundup,
what people are
and
allowed to
yeah.
eat. And we were talking about it earlier. In different countries, half the shit we eat here is illegal in those
Hmm.
countries.
Absolutely, yeah. The fermented soybean, although soy is a plant-based estrogen, so I'm like that's fuel for what we have. But yeah, in other countries, it has to either be fermented or non-fermented. I can't remember which one, but I just avoid it like the plague.
Yeah.
So,
I'm trying to think. Yeah. Besides soy, I know we were discussing like hot dogs, processed meat. Like we
oh,
really
nitrates. Yeah,
nitrates.
nitrates. I don't know if that has anything to do with cancer, but yeah, just stay away from nitrates.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're not good for, and they're in deli meats. So and
I
bait.
miss turkey so
I
much.
know, but you could find no nitrate stuff. You have to really search. I think
Yeah, I heard.
Applegate, I think is
I don't know. I
the.
still don't trust them.
No, I know. Yeah, because all the big companies are buying them all
Yeah.
up, and then they're basically they want to kill us off, eliminate us all.
What do you think the hardest part about going through your diagnosis was with having kids old enough to understand what's going on?
Oh no, they were absolutely great, and I used my cancer card for them too. My daughter was able was able to have her car at college because I went up there bald saying, "My daughter needs to take me to chemotherapy." And I didn't need anybody to drive me. I just went by myself. It was better, and yeah, it was. I didn't have a port either. You had the port.
Yeah, so back then they didn't do
No,
ports.
they did. They
They did.
wanted me to have one, and I
Why?
absolutely refused.
Why?
I absolutely refused because my mother had died from colon cancer, and she had the port for her
So
treatments.
you were kind of.
And yeah, I don't know. I was just freaked out about it, and I went to her cancer treatments, and they plug it in, and I'm like, oh my gosh! And then they turn it up. You got to do it really fast. I'm like, you know what? No. Find a vein. I have all good veins on one arm, and the cancer-free arm, and yeah, I refused, and it took them longer, and they said I was a pain in the ass, but I just made them laugh. I
I
made
love
them
my
laugh.
port. I love my
I
port.
know,
My battle scar
but
right
it's
here.
gone. Yours is gone.
No, scar's still
No,
there.
the
Oh, the
port
port. Yeah, they
is
took the
gone.
port out. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were confident that this cancer was out. So after when I had my mastectomy, they were pretty confident they took it out, and then the tissue
Yeah.
after the tissue came back all negative. You know,
You don't need it anymore.
done with it. Yeah.
No.
What do you think the hardest part about going through all of this was? Because I know you're tough. You're a tough bitch like me, but
um, Actually, the hardest part was when all the chemo was over, and I really didn't feel special.
really, that's that really,
That was the
really. So the
yeah.
mastectomy, did that hurt? Like,
Oh yes, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was terrible. But I'll hold this now because I want to tell the story. Because back then I had like this little ball. It was like a balloon that dripped um, like anesthetic on like through tubes into my boobs. So it made my whole chest numb, and it was a balloon, and so every day the balloon would get a little smaller, a little smaller, a little smaller as it was dripping the anesthetic into my chest cavity, keeping it all numb. So I was like, I had no pain whatsoever, but then the ball was like a little empty balloon, and I'm waiting like, is it going to hurt, is it going to hurt? But it was over a week, and everything, there was no pain, and that was the only thing. So
you had expanders or
the
direct?
oh no, I had expanders. Yeah, I had expanders, but the balloon was something different. So the balloon was on the outside of my body.
Huh.
I had to clip it to my shirt, and then it would just drip. I had the drains, and then the little tubes going in, and it would just drip anesthetic or some
Huh.
kind of numbing agent.
Really?
And it was, yeah, it was very odd, but that was like 16 years ago. I don't even know. I don't think they have it
Yeah.
now, but that kept it from being painful.
Wow.
And yeah,
I'm curious what this balloon thing
it's a balloon
is.
thing.
Yeah.
Filled with
So
anesthetic.
sorry, I have a visitor. Yeah, I'm really curious what this is. I'm gonna look into it. A
Yeah.
balloon anesthetic. I mean, is it because maybe nowadays we have better painkillers than back then?
I had no pain. I had no painkillers. I had Motrin.
Well, the balloon you said was an anesthetic. Was
Yes, but it didn't make me feel. It didn't make me feel good.
but
It
it
just made
numbed the
no.
pain.
It was a numbing, like when you go to the dentist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't do that with me, so I'm curious if we have better painkillers to numb everything from top to bottom.
Maybe. I don't know.
Makes sense why this generation's all messed up.
I
They don't give us anesthetic balloons anymore. They only give us pills.
I want my balloon.
I want a balloon. Oh my gosh. Okay, so between talking to me about, my diagnosis
Mhm.
from yours compared to 16 years ago, was there anything that you saw that I did differently that you didn't do? Because I remember we talked about the nipple dye where they stuck a needle inside her nipple and they injected that. Yeah,
You had that.
I did not have that. The doctor did that when I was under already.
I love that doctor
Yeah, me
because
too.
that hurt so bad. The nurse like, you can hold my hand and squeeze as hard as you like. And she goes, because this is gonna hurt. And then they stick noon at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, all, and then one right in the middle of, I don't even know what it was. I tried not to ask any questions. I just left my life in their hands. I didn't want to know. They're like, "Oh, let's explain this." I'm like, "No, I don't care. Just do it." I'm like, "Really? I'm not going to tell you how I do my job. I don't want to hear how you do your
Yeah.
job."
Um, you know what it is basically is when you go in for a mastectomy, lumpectomy, whatever you opt to do, the doctors inject this bluish purplish dye into your nipples to kind of path out the lymphatic system, the lymph node system, so they can see if any of them light up. That means it had spread, and they want to remove them to check. Or it doesn't mean it spread. It just if any of them look
Yeah.
discolored, they
Then
remove them to test them to see if any cancer was in them. So that was what I was scared about the most because you had
I
told,
told you. I was
yeah,
like, "Yeah, just hold the hand.
yeah,
Yeah, they'll let you
yeah,
scream because it's gonna hurt."
yeah.
But
When I was
oh
diagnosed, no one told me that
god,
until like 2 days before my mastectomy. You told me, my other girl told me, and I was
yeah.
like, really, guys, you could have just not told
Not
me that
told.
because I didn't
No,
sleep for like 2 days. I
I
kept thinking of the
know.
needle going because apparently they go all around you and then
Yeah,
straight into your nipple, and you're
yeah,
awake for all this,
yeah.
no anesthetic, nothing. So I was freaking out about that. So when I was laying on that table, like about to go under, I looked at my doctor. I'm like, where's the needle in my nipple? And she's like, why would I do that while you're awake? I'm like, I don't know. Everyone told me that they do it when you're awake. She's like, you guys go through so much pain. Why would I do it again? But honestly,
I
I have
know.
talked to a lot of girls and they still
Still
do
do
it
it.
this way.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't know if it's my doctor. Love you,
I
Dr.
know. Yeah,
Mautner.
shout out to that
So
doctor.
so I know that was a hard part. Anything else that you saw that I went through besides? I know I get Zolodex shots. I know probably because I was a little bit younger at diagnosis,
Yes,
so shut down
yeah, yeah.
my ovaries.
The only thing that you had different was the patch.
Neulasta
To
shot.
Yeah, to bring it back. See, the Neulasta didn't work with me, so they had to do old school and have Neupogen, I think it was, and I had to do the shots in my stomach
Gotcha.
for like I think 10 days after each thing, and that awakens your bone marrow to make your white blood cells because all your white blood cells are
Yeah.
dead. So this brings it all back, and it comes out of your big bones, like all your giant bones, and that's where you get that big bone ache. So
Yeah, so it pretty much awakens all your white cells. It produces more white cells to attack infection if you get sick while you're in
hmm
chemo.
hmm
But one of the side effects is extreme bone pain, which we both experienced, especially
yes,
you.
yes, oh yeah, it was horrible. One time I couldn't get him off the couch to pee. And I was just making fun of the scooter store lady. She was on television going, "Oh, I'm doing my laundry. I'm on my little scooter." And I said to my guy, I was like, "Well, at least I don't need a scooter to get around." And I jinxed myself. And because he left to go to work and I had to call him up, like, "Did you come back? I can't stand up." I
Oh my
couldn't
god.
even stand. I was going
Oh
to
my
pee
god.
myself, and he had to carry me into the toilet, put me down, wait, and then bring me back to the couch.
Oh my
And I'm
god.
like, I'll never make fun of the scooter store lady again. I was like, I still feel bad. That was the only time I ever made fun of anybody. And I got the karma slap. Bam.
Karma's a bitch,
I
bitch.
know. It's
Yeah. I
true.
mean, now that like since our diagnosis, I feel like I view life so differently. Like
Oh,
when someone's like driving really slow or someone just like smells bad or like is bald or something, like I
yeah.
don't judge them
No.
because we've experienced every side effect, every ugly
Balding.
stage, every
Oh
balding.
my
We've
God.
experienced it all. So
I
I'm a little
know.
more like tolerant towards
Yes.
stupidity.
Yes, yes, and
Just
aesthetically, things that aren't aesthetically proper. It's
it's
like
okay.
not having nose hairs.
Oh,
Oh my god,
your
your
nose is
runs.
dripping.
Oh my god, it was horrible.
Horrible.
And no eyelashes. Like I was putting L'Oreal on one lash trying to curl it. This was before they had those beautiful
Fake,
lashes,
yeah.
fake lashes. I'm like putting mascara
Oh
on
my
one
god.
lash. I'm like, come
So
on,
they didn't
baby.
have adhesive lashes back then, really?
I think they did, but
They
I'm
weren't
like,
popular. Yeah.
no, not really popular. I wouldn't even know where to get them. It's like,
Caldor, remember
oh
throwback
yes, Caldor.
Caldor.
Love Caldor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throwback Thursday, man.
Oh my
Sunday. Happy
god.
Easter, everyone, by the way.
Yes, blessings. God is
Blessings.
good.
We are
I
survivors. We
know.
are
God
alive.
is good.
We are alive.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
Jesus.
you,
It's a
Jesus.
6 pound, 7 ounce. Thank you, Jesus. No, and I'm serious. My God, he's wonderful. God
Yeah.
is great.
God is great, guys. Alrighty. Well,
We're
get
running out of light.
getting run out a little light here, so we're gonna head back and enjoy the rest of our Easter.
Hmm.
But y'all, have a great night, and thank you for tuning in again. And hopefully, we have Steph back on next week. Any
Yes.
last words before we go?
No, love everyone. Thank you. God bless you.